One. Hi, Kirsty. Welcome to the Oscar show.
Hi, Oscar.
How long have you been doing acting and theater and temping?
Boy, I have been an actor since my first play I did was in high school, but professionally, I've been an actor since I got out of college, which it's been a minute. Probably. How long have I known you, Oscar?
Since 2006.
That's right. So it's been a long time.
And my next question is what types of shows and plays and films were you in?
Yeah, so you know what I've done. Oscar, you've been so good to come to some of my plays. I've worked off Broadway. I've worked also regionally in different cities to do theater, but I also do film and television. So most recently, I did a television show called Perry Mason for HBO. And I did Tales of the Walking Dead, which is a wacky, scary one that even my mom wouldn't watch. So that's what I've been, but I'm hopeful for a job right now. I'm auditioning.
How do people know tickets go on sale for all your shows and films?
Well, if I'm doing my job right, I let people know that there is a play or a television show on. Sometimes what's happened now is when there's a TV show, I don't have to always be the PR agent. Sometimes there's other people doing that. But I do try to let my friends like you know that I'm doing something. So how do you normally get that news, Oscar?
From you or Jonathan or Elizabeth or Landon, Heather, Dakota, or my folks or Edward?
Yeah, but normally comes through an email or a text, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I contact people.
When you do these shows, what time do you have to leave for the day? When do you come back? When you have all these
Geez,
gigs?
it just depends because you know I have day jobs too. So sometimes I leave very early in the morning and I don't get back till very, very late. Because I'm doing many things like day job, play at night. But sometimes I get to leave just before the play. So that means I leave at 4:30 p.m. and I'll take the train and do the play. And then I get to go home. Or maybe I get to meet with friends afterwards, which is why I really do plays, is so I can see my friends.
What's rehearsals like?
Rehearsals can be really interesting because that's really where you're trying to practice and learn the play. I don't know. Have you ever learned any lines, Oscar? I know you have.
Yeah, I did with a film shoot on a Sunday night in Central Park.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I know you've done a lot. So that's what we're doing in rehearsal is we're trying to memorize our lines. We're trying to memorize where we're going. And also sometimes we have ideas that we're trying to like work out. And so then when we're ready for an audience to come in, the audience is the one's going to tell us if our ideas were good or not. If they're laughing, if they feel like they understand the story, that's the most important thing is our audience.
Do you use cameras when you film or when you hook up to microphone or go to film festivals?
Yeah, so you know what? Actually, that's a really good thing to talk about because you know I directed my second film. So I've directed one or two films. This is my second. And so I have been starting to learn how to use the camera, which is very, very exciting. But when I am working on camera as an actress, I get an opportunity to watch other artists really cool. I mean, your family, you guys are so filmmaker world. But I love watching being on set and watching all the cameras move and the lights and the sound and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yes. Where do you do that?
Where do I do that? I do that when we're shooting a film or a television show, or maybe we would be doing a webcast or something like that, or a web series. So I've done that all over the place. So I directed my second film in San Francisco, and I'll work on a show next month in here in New York briefly. And then last month I was in Florida for a brief stay to do like a small reading of a play. So, you know, I travel all over the place to work.
Like me, since I'm becoming a world traveler.
That's right, you are. And guess who gives me the best travel advice?
Me.
Oscar. That's right.
And then with your film stuff, do you guys how long it take to edit your videos?
It varies. Our last one took a lot of time because it was shot as a oneer, which basically for filmmakers means it was one take. But actually, there's a magic trick in our film. So it was a little more complicated to edit it, particularly for sound. It varies. It varies how how complex the film or story is.
What's your next film?
So the film I wrote and directed is called Stalled in Eight Etudes. It's a very crazy title. It's called Stalled, like a bathroom stall, like the bathroom that. And so basically, the story is eight women in a courthouse bathroom, but they're all played by the same actress. So we're following the actress with the camera, and every time she goes into the bathroom door, out comes a whole other character.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your jobs? Where do you work during the days? My next question,
Yeah.
besides with all this acting and theater.
Yeah, so during the day, I have many, many gigs. I've been a teacher. I've worked with folks like Oscar. I also have worked in administration in banks and all sorts of things. Actually, that's been the cool thing is when you get to do a bunch of small little things all over the place. I learn from everyone. You've got lots of jobs too, Oscar.
Yes, I do have lots of jobs.
Yeah, you and me are the same.
Yes. So where do they when you have all these travels, where do they put you up for all your acting and filming gigs when you have all this
Well,
travels?
it varies because sometimes I stay with friends because I love staying with friends and being able to have a meal with them. Or sometimes I'm in a hotel, which to me, hotels can feel great for like one night, but when you're there for a long time, I get a little lonely. So I kind of love staying with friends. But also there's all other variations of that. So they sometimes will rent you an apartment or something like that.
Rent you an apartment in a big city?
That's right. Yeah.
Where else have you traveled for acting and theater and filming?
I have actually traveled all over the world. I studied during college, I studied at the Moscow Art Theater, which is in Moscow, Russia. And I ended up returning and doing a play in Russia a few years after that. And then I've also traveled to Cuba. I've traveled through the Middle East, all sorts of places, just so that I can see what's going on in how theater is being done all over the world.
Really?
Mhm.
My next question is what what other autistic people have you worked with besides me?
You know, I actually haven't had a real opportunity to work with many autistic folks besides you. I do have some autistic friends, but my greatest pleasure has been able to be a friend of Oscar for a long, long time. How did we meet, Oscar?
My father Ray Siegel found you off Craigslist for taking me to school.
And what did we do?
Take the bus and the train
Oh man, all the
and
way
then
from where did we go?
157th Street.
Yep, and then we crossed town.
Yeah, I remember, but not anymore.
Not anymore. But do you remember that crazy crosstown bus?
Yeah, it's ancient history.
Ancient history.
My next connect question, do you have any film connections for me for all four of my videos?
I'm your biggest fan. Any connection that I have is your connection, Oscar. So hopefully we can get you in all the right places. Well, I'm so proud of you, Oscar, for continuing to make stuff. I think that that's the most important thing for everybody is to just keep making your thing. Whatever that is, be it the Oscar show, or maybe you want to write a little story, or you like painting or drawing, or maybe you enjoy playing music. I think you got to do your thing. We're so proud of you.
Yes. Kirsty, it was great talking to you. Thank
Hey,
you.
Oscar, I love you so much. Thank you for having me on the Oscar show. It's an honor, and I do not take this for granted. I really am honored to be on the Oscar show.
Thank you.